Now, welcome back, and I'm delighted that you could all join us for our Food Tech Challenge Fireside chat. Now, we have with us today Penny McBride, who is the Vice Chairman of FarmTech Society. Penny has more than 20 years of experience in agri-tech and has been an integral part of the Food Tech Challenge this year, as well as being one of our technical judges. She has also been involved in mentoring one of the 12 finalist teams. I'm sure I speak on behalf of all our audience when I express our gratitude to Penny for talking with us today. Penny, if I can begin by asking you a little bit about your personal story, how did you get involved in the indoor agriculture and end up on the journey that has brought you to where you are today?
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for having me today and for hosting the challenge. So I have always had an interest in food, and my educational background is in local community sustainability. So when the opportunity came about to provide local food source for our community, um, really that tied everything that I love together, coming from the aspect of food and local food production, and the ability to create local jobs was really the ideal scenario for me to start a business around the concept. So, and I think what was particularly interesting for me in starting Vertical Harvest, that was my personal foray into the a local business that would um, provide both all of these things, was that it also looked at the environmental aspects of really creating a local food source that was truly, truly local. And today, I think that's really on the forefront of more people's minds. Um, but gosh, when I really started thinking about this, it was over 10 years ago. And indoor farming and local food production has changed so much since then. So the landscape is really developing in a positive way. I also grew up on a family farm. It was quite large scale, but that gave me really a good grounding into what local food production can do for a community. So I think it's a little bit, I mean, not no bad pun intended, but it was really in my roots to be involved in local food production. So indoor farming really has been just a great transition for me as a person to bring food production to my community.
That's so wonderful. And what role does the Farm Tech Society play in developing the future of agriculture?
The FarmTech Society, so I don't know if it's a fairly newly developed association. So it is a member-based organization. The the focus of the group is obviously to serve its members, but really to bring the larger indoor growing community together. So we have three pillars that we stand on right now. I was particularly vested in the educational aspect of indoor farming for so many reasons. Um, we have some educational programs that we're doing as that are a collaborative program. So we're working with universities both in the United States and in Europe to develop short programs right now, mostly on the technical training level. But we really believe that education on many levels to is so important to really open up the opportunities for people to step into this new space. Farming is not necessarily something that is at the forefront of a lot of young people's mind as far as an educational step. But as we all have seen, indoor farming is really growing so rapidly. But there are really not very many short training programs that are available to young people today. So we'd really like to provide that introduction into indoor agriculture. And then we're also really working on some great sustainability pieces. So providing benchmarks for businesses so they can understand what other people are doing and how they can improve their work. So I think providing the benchmarks both for manufacturers and for farmers is important. So we all feel like we're striving towards something that is really equal.
Mm.
And then finally, on the kind of the legislative level, to really encourage any sort of rules or regulations that would allow indoor farms to come into the space um, without as many challenges as a lot of indoor farms have faced in the past.
Right. And if you can tell us a little bit about the lessons that you have learned from your experience of starting vertical harvest and how it has shaped the rest of your journey.
You know, interestingly enough, I think a lot of people would say the natural things like a good business plan or making sure that you have all of the right technology. While those things are obviously so important and the foundation of a good business, a lot of what I've learned about is people and partnerships. So, a business or an organization is only as good as the people who are a part of it. And I think that it's often a step that's overlooked in many businesses. So much of it is about um, the outside agencies that you might be partnering with, or how you treat your employees and how you value employees. So I think what I really did learn is valuing your employees and your partners in the organization, and really just treating people like people. And I think that's often something that's missed, and not something that who build businesses spend enough time on. Really understanding who your assets are and how you can develop their skills and support them over the long run has been really, really, that was a really critical component to growing our business, and also the foundations of your community. So, you could have a successful business, but I think it's going to be that much more of a community asset
Mm.
and a tool for the community if you can understand how to partner with other businesses wherever you are.
Right. Education and research are key in order to promote innovation in any field. How would you rate the current state of play in education research available in the food tech sector, and what can be done to improve it?
I think that there are some interesting um, groups coming together here in the US that are all about information sharing. So I think that as much as there's often a little bit of a divide between what is happening in academia and actually what's happening on the ground. Um, and this might be include the research that individual companies are doing. But I've seen that in this sector, it's often hard for people to really want to share their information, because it gives them that edge, that proprietary edge on their business. But I think eventually we have to, and we're getting to that space, understand how to um, share the information that can really bring everybody up to improve where they are in the business sense. So I think education can extend as far as, not only I was talking about with the FarmTech Society, but really also including educating people about what research, what is happening on the research level. So, I think a lot of people are struggling with the same thing, or even researchers are often looking at the same thing. But if we can really share information in a way that's outside of the competitive space, um, I think that will help the whole sector continue to move forward. And I also think that as far as the educational platform goes, bringing it down to the secondary schools is always really an amazing way to see development and interest grow. So I think that STEM education, there are standards that every school has to abide by to meet their testing goals. But if we can kind of step outside of the box a little bit and go back to where, understanding the basics of plant science and what can happen with the new additions of technology today, um, that's really an important thing to consider. So I think it goes back to sharing information in the technology, the development of technology in ag tech. So like I said, I think a lot of it does seem competitive and proprietary, but um, there's only so much that we can all do alone, and if we can come together and share those critical pieces, I think that's really going to be important.
Penny, through your work, you are exposed to many of the latest trends and innovations in food tech. What are the most inspiring solutions out there at the moment, and how do you see them shaping the future of farming?
Right. Well, I mean, I think, like the company that I helped to mentor doing the food tech challenge, they were, they were taking something that was existing, food that was underutilized, and really reaching out to see how it could be, um, how this asset that is often seen as a waste can be used both, um, on so many fronts, as an energy source, as a commodity to people who may be going hungry. And I think we often overlook what's right in front of us. And I think that companies such as this that are, um, maybe it may not seem so high tech on the front end, but on the back end, they're using technology to really understand how to create value for something that is undervalued. So I think that technology, we all are so excited about AI and um, really increasing plant health and things like that, which is it is very, very exciting. So don't get me wrong, but I think using technology on the back end to just understand how to utilize what's in front of us, just really to create more efficiency. I think it's all about creating more efficiency in our space right now, because agriculture, even if you look at field farming or indoor farming, can be very labor intensive. And so I think anything that creates more efficiencies within the space um, is really going to help the sector move forward. Now, the challenge is that so often new technology is expensive. So it's finding that sweet spot and I think it will all come over time as different brands and pieces of hardware and software are used more. It will become more affordable, and I do think we're getting to that place with so many things in indoor growing. So I think it's just about anything that creates more efficiency.
Right. We've been very lucky to have another really fascinating and stimulating session. Penny, it was great to have you with us. Thank you so much for being involved in this year's Food Tech Challenge and for answering our questions today. For more information on all the Food Tech Challenge, please visit our website, foodtechchallenge.com. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure to register there for tomorrow's award ceremony. Thank you for joining us again, and we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thank you.